Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about the real cause of prostate problems and also prostate cancer. Now, this isn't just for men, but anyone who knows a man, such as maybe your dad or brother or husband or boyfriend and so forth. And at the end of this video, you'll know the exact cause and the best solutions for naturally avoiding prostate problems and cancer. And most importantly, you'll discover how you can increase your sex drive. You'll have harder, bigger, fuller erections, and you'll also be able to live a longer and happier life. Unfortunately, cancer is steadily going up, and about 40% of people get diagnosed with cancer. And the number one cancer killer in men is, in fact, prostate cancer, which affects about 15% of guys. Now, I personally know multiple family members and my friends' dads who have had prostate cancer, and sadly, few of them have died from it. More so, most men will get diagnosed with an enlarged prostate, which is called BPH, which stands for benign prostatic hyperplasia. So today I'm going to quickly discuss the various causes of prostate problems, including the real cause of it and prostate cancer. All right, so let's first talk about genetics. If you've been watching any of my videos, you probably heard me say numerous times that the way you look and feel is based on your genetics and hormones. So let's first start with genetics. Now, a definite cause of any illness, including any cancer, is of course genetics and also genetic mutations. And the good news is that even if you have the gene for cancer, for example, it doesn't mean that you'll get cancer. However, the bad news is that even if you do not have the gene, it doesn't mean that you won't get cancer. And this is because there's something else called epigenetics, which also controls gene expression. Thus, lifestyle can actually turn on or off various genes. So the bottom line is that you actually have a lot more control over your health than you think you do, so you don't always have to blame it on genetics. Now, there's other factors. For example, race and ethnicity. Similar to genetics, race and ethnicity are also risk factors for prostate growth and cancer. For example, Black African American men have the highest risk of prostate problems, while on the flip side, Latino and Asian Americans have the lowest risk for prostate problems. Now, I might ask, why is this? Now, based on all the studies, but more importantly, the hundreds of guys I've consulted with over the years, looking at their lifestyle, diet, and most importantly, their blood tests, I've seen the common factor for this is hormones, which reinforces what I've been saying for years, that genetics aside, the way you look and feel is based on your hormones. And I'll get more into details about hormones about this in about a minute. By the way, before I go any further, if you find this information helpful and you do care more about prostate stuff and other guy-related stuff, make sure you have clicked the subscribe button and the bell icon. You'll be notified when I release additional videos specifically about prostate health, so you get first notice and you won't miss any of the important information. So let's proceed with diet and food. Again, diet and food also make a huge difference because it affects your hormones. As Hippocrates wisely said over 2,500 years ago, right, 2,500, let food be thy medicine. This basically means that the food can actually act like a drug, like medicine. It can be a good or bad drug depending on the foods you eat and how much, good food or bad food, or too much or too little. Even the timing of your food, when you eat your food, can affect your hormones. With that said, let's talk about some bad foods, all right? Foods you want to avoid. First of all, dairy is definitely linked to cancer, including prostate cancer. And I've been saying this for many years, many times, that milk is for babies and cow milk is for baby cows. So please stop with the dairy. Now, red meat is huge food here in America. Unfortunately, red meat is also linked to prostate problems and cancer. Definitely the junky red meat that most people are eating is the worst, especially if you're barbecuing it and frying it and all these other things. The other type of food you want to avoid is high-fat animal protein. It's also linked to prostate problems, as are the cheap supermarket vegetable and seed oils, which are very inflammatory and high in omega-6 fats. Now, these are the ones you got to read the labels. It's stuff like, soybean oil and corn oil and canola and cottonseed oil and sunflower oil. Now, these seem to be healthy, but these are fake healthy foods. Basically, these oils are used in most of the packaged and pre-made foods. So is a diet also you want to avoid, diets that are highly processed in carbohydrates and sugars, especially when mixed with fat. Basically, the worst combination of foods is the ones that's high fat and carbs mixed together. Unfortunately, these are also all the yummy foods that we eat, and they also tend to be most addictive. That's right, sugar and fat together is very addictive. Now let's talk about exercise. People who exercise regularly have less cancer, up to 40% less cancer. This is huge. Unfortunately, most people barely even move these days, let alone actually exercise. And the good news is that all you need to do is get started with all these benefits. It's just 20 minutes of brisk daily walk, all right, to get the benefits. I suggest first thing in the morning, get out, get some sun. All right, and I'll discuss the best and worst exercises also in future videos because some exercises will actually cause more problems. Next, we want to talk about geographical location. Where you live also plays a factor in your health and longevity, including prostate health and cancer. Basically, people living in warmer climates, closer to the equator where weather is warmer, have less incidences of cancer, including prostate cancer. Now, you might ask why. There's probably a lot of reasons, but I think one of it is people tend to be more active, right? The sun is out, people are out more doing stuff, they're moving around. But more importantly, they're actually getting more sunlight, and they're getting that very valuable and awesome hormone called vitamin D. That's right, vitamin D is technically a steroid hormone and not really a vitamin. And that's why it's so many powerful positive steroid-like benefits in your body for both men and women. Vitamin D is awesome. And I'll talk about the most important factor for prostate cancer is just in a minute, and I'll mention one of the risk factors again, which again, I'll come back to hormones. Before I do though, I want to talk about body fat. People who have higher body fat levels, especially gut fat, have more prostate growth, more prostate problems, and more prostate cancer. Now, why is this? Again, it all comes down to hormones. First of all, belly fat, or more specifically visceral fat, which is around the belly, messes up with your hormones. It lowers that powerful testosterone while it increases negative female hormones such as estrogens and estradiol. High body fat also increases the negative stress hormones such as cortisol. Additionally, there's an increase in insulin, which is another hormone, which then causes even more hormonal imbalances. Lastly, the extra body fat increases inflammation and inflammatory factors, which causes all sorts of health problems, including cancer and prostate growth. Again, we see that the common problem is hormonal imbalance. So look, the bottom line is always that things keep coming back to hormones, and more specifically, hormonal imbalances, which tend to become worse and worse as we get older. Now, most doctors, or what I call idiot doctors, still mistakenly think that the testosterone is the cause of prostate problems. Not only is this medically wrong and has been proven numerous times these days, but logically, it doesn't make sense. Just think, young guys, right, in their teens and 20s have the highest testosterone levels and have no prostate problems. And they have very low PSA score. PSA is for prostate-specific antigen. This is a major indicator of prostate problems. While the older guy, they have the least amount of testosterone levels, all right, and they have all the testosterone, all the prostate problems. In fact, the older the guy, the lower the testosterone, the bigger the prostate problems. However, there are three main hormones that are linked to prostate problems. And again, it's not testosterone. First of all, let's talk about DHT. Now, many of you have heard about the hormone DHT, which stands for dihydrotestosterone. Now, DHT is typically associated with prostate enlargement, also hair loss and balding, and then excess body hair growth. Now, testosterone gets converted to DHT, right? Testosterone goes down, DHT goes up due to higher levels of an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase enzyme. Genetics does play a big role here, as does lifestyle and certain diets. The good news is that you can lower this bad DHT levels with drugs, or you can do so naturally. The bad news is that you also don't want to have low levels of DHT, because then you'll end up having no sex drive. You'll be really depressed. And this is the problem guys have when they take a drug called finasteride or even dutasteride. These drugs commonly known as Propecia and Proscar, again, used for hair loss or prostate problems. So the goal here is you want higher testosterone, but lower DHT. That's the first goal. Then we have estrogen. Now, something most people don't know. One reason DHT levels go up, that hair loss hormone, is to actually lower estrogen. That's right. The second problem here is estrogen levels, the female hormone. Your body's natural estrogen inhibitor is actually DHT. You see, guys who have maybe man boobs, or it's called gynecomastia, medically you can take topical DHT and rub it on your nipples, and it actually shrinks the nipple because it lowers estrogen levels. And thus, as estrogen levels start to go up, testosterone comes down, your body freaks out and wants to lower estrogen, so it actually produces more DHT. It's natural estrogen inhibitor. So the bigger problem actually becomes estrogen. So estrogen is a major problem. Again, estrogen tends to go up with age. Estrogen goes up as your body fat goes up. Estrogen also tends to go up with all the crappy food in our diets and so on and so forth. Again, also, as estrogen goes up, testosterone comes down. We have double negatives. So again, we want higher testosterone and lower DHT and estrogen levels. Okay, so that's 3 hormones. Then those are 2 hormones. Then we want the third one, and it's cortisol. You see, as the stress hormone goes up, such as cortisol levels, there's a lot of negative health issues, right? Including prostate problems. By the way, estrogen goes up, DHT goes up, cortisol goes up, your total and free testosterone levels come down lower and lower. And sadly, all 3 of these negative hormones, DHT, estrogen, cortisol, go up with aging, and thus why testosterone keeps getting lower and lower and lower as men get older. And this is why most doctors erroneously say that, hey, if you increase testosterone, you'll have prostate problems. But it's not the testosterone. We've already learned that. It's what testosterone gets converted to, which is estrogen, DHT, and indirectly to cortisol levels. All right? So now you know the real cause of prostate growth and cancer, which is hormonal imbalance. Thus, your goal is to have higher total and free testosterone levels while lowering negative DHT, the hair loss hormone, estrogen, the female hormone, which is gynecomastia and fat, and also cortisol, your stress hormone. This balance is what you had when you're young. When you get older, it's completely the opposite. Again, you want to replicate the natural hormone levels and ratios as a young person, not that of an old person. So what's the solution? Listen, now that you know the problem, right, with the cause, what do we do? What's the solution? Well, this video is obviously longer than I thought originally and I wanted to be, and maybe it's a little bit confusing. It's all these different hormones. So I suggest you rewatch it. But I wanted to make sure you got all the correct information so you're knowledgeable and you make an educated decision, because I care about your health and your future. And because of this, I created a multi-part video series specifically about this topic, about prostate health, since again, I have a family history of prostate cancer. So this is a really important topic for me. And below in the description area, I've got some important links so you get more details about how you can reduce prostate problems, shrink it, and help avoid prostate cancer. And the best part is, all this can be done naturally. No drugs. And no, it will not affect your sex drive. Actually, the best part is, by applying what you're going to discover in these videos, you'll get the exact opposite. You'll actually have higher libido, bigger, fuller, harder erections. Again, because you have better hormones, like when you're younger, the opposite of when you're older. So scroll down in the description area, click the links below if you're interested in improving your prostate health, your sex life, and you want better erections and you want to have a healthier life future and avoid cancer. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and have a happy and healthy day.